when you are young, I think the treasure of each young people is the emotional intelligence, because you learn this profession when you are 19, 20, after the gymnasium or another way. And then you know, in Switzerland, I speaking about our schools, then you know nothing, because the eyes weren't educated during this long time. I remember that I had a lot of grammar. I had to accept that the A is written like this, not in another way, and I cannot do it like this. Then you have to say A, not something other. And if you put this all together with time, you realize that you can say a sentence, you understand the text. I remember when I was lying in the bed when I was very young, and my mother at the evening had a small prayer. A long time I realized only the sound when I was young. And suddenly, when I get a little bit older, I was able to understand the text. I was in contact with my profession very early. And then we are discussing together. I was not working with Rudolf Alschatti, but we were discussing about our profession. And then you learn step by step. And you realized that our language we built also in the city planning, not only for buildings, all is founded on geometry, at least. Geometry, all is geometry. And in a very abstract way, you will formulate all with lines, no with materials and all this, only lines. That means that's very abstract. All over the world, the fundament of all things is a geometric plan. But it looks every time very different. And because of the next hierarchy, when you put the geometry in different ways together. But at the end, and people are able to formulate the whole feeling of life in each epoch by themselves. They have not to do reproductions. That's very important to know. But all is a variation of this line, rectangular, square, a triangle, a circle. We are able, without knowing, to understand the difference, perhaps between a mosque or an early Christian church. Because a mosque has no hierarchy inside. Every place is in the same meaning. And early Christian church has a very specific hierarchy in the inner room. But the elements in the geometry are every time the same. So you can not give an answer how you learn it, but I think you have to speak about the question how I can educate my eyes. And we need our eyes for our profession. That's the point. The next point is, when we trust in that, and when we trust in the spoken language, and you see, my English is not good, but I try to speak in a way English. And you perhaps can a little bit understand what I will say. It's not my private language. And that's the same thing in the art, in the painting, sculpture, and also in our profession, in the building art. It's the same thing. If you have a private language, like the deconstructivism, then I cannot understand, because it's a private language. The deconstructivism is a very good example to speak about, because normal people today are thinking it's very full of fantasy and things like that, but it's but it's broke, because the language is only able to formulate some spectacular things, but every architect I know who built these houses is not lying in a bed who is like that, because it's not comfortable. And the floor is on every time horizontal. It's not like that. Classical modernism, for us, it's very easy to do. The ceiling outside the element, you have one glass, perhaps a frame or not a frame, I do not know. We have 3 glasses, and our frames are thick like a post. And the Renaissance architects had no building laws. They have a thick wall, and they have not small rooms to do. They have only the main rooms. The kitchen, I do not know. It's in this ground floor. They have no toilets in the house, no electricity, no heating. They have chimneys. And they said, oh, it's 5 to 8, it's 4 to 8, it's like that. And then on the building side, the workers cost not a lot, the material only exclusive of columns and stones, natural stones are cheaper, and you can work a long time, and you have the 6th wall, and you can paint them outside also darker. So we have to look to the past, and if young people today look too much to the classical modernism, he cannot learn a lot to do some details and the expression. So when the young people are intelligent and they are calculate with the conditions of the present, then they have to look also in older epochs. Which epoch is very near, we can learn a lot. And the most important thing is that you are not free, to know that you are not free. You build for the present and the future, but the education is in the past. And then you have to look there. Which expression I need? What can I do with our condition today? And so on. You have not to put away misunderstanding. I did a lot of misunderstanding. I do not realize how good this is. I was not able to see it because my language and my education was not as big that I can see it. I can respect the quality, but I cannot analyze it, what I have seen then. And so you say, no, that's not, I'm not interested in it, or things like that. I'm interested in this, but with time you discover more and more.